Good morning, students. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Okay, I'm fine too. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you sure? Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Listen to teacher.
Hi, good morning, students.
Good morning, teacher. Good morning, teacher.
How are you guys today? You're feeling fresh? All of you seems to be fresh today. Okay, so just wait for a little while. Let all of your friends join together, join us. Then we can start the class. Okay. All right, so till the meantime, prepare your textbooks. So all of you having your books already with you?
Yes.
Okay, which subject we are going to learn today, the first class?
Science.
Science, very good. Okay, so all of you remember already which unit we learned last week, and we're gonna continue this week, the solar system, right? Okay, so let's start. So today we are going to learn on page number 132. So we already talked about different planets. I guess 5 of the planets we already talked about, and the remaining 3 planets we are going to discuss today. Okay, so before we start, can anyone answer me how many planets we have in our solar system? Students, can you answer me? How many planets we have in our solar system? I'm waiting for your answer.
8.
8. Very good. Okay. Can you name them? Anyone can tell me the name of the planets? 8 planets which exist in our solar system. Can you tell me the name of those planets? Those are the 8 planets what we have in our solar system. First one is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter. Carry on. Jupiter. Then we have Saturn. Number 7. Uranus. Very good. Neptune. Excellent. Okay, so these are the 8 planets we have in our solar system. So 5 of the planets we already talked about. That how far is the planet from the sun, how much is the distance between those planets and the sun, and we also talk about how long does it take to complete one orbit, and how long does it take for the full rotation of each planet. Apart from that, we also talk about that some of the planets, they do have satellites, some of the planets they don't have, and some planets they have different type of gases. Okay, so here our 6th planet we are going to discuss So these are some of the important information you have to remember. Planet 6, Saturn. So Saturn is the 6th closest planet to the Sun. The distance of Saturn to the Sun is 1,427 million kilometers. It is the second biggest planet, right? It is the second biggest planet. The outstanding characteristic of Saturn is the rings around the planet. The rings are made from chunks of ice crystals. Saturn is referred as the ringed planet, all right, and the god of agriculture. Saturn orbits around the Sun. It takes 29.5 years to complete one orbit. It takes 10.5 hours to complete one rotation. Saturn has 60 satellites. Saturn is another gas giant. The outer gases are hydrogen and helium, and the inner gases is made up of metal. The core of Saturn is compact ice. There is hydrogen, ammonia, and methane in the atmosphere. Okay, so here, these are some of the basic information what we have about the planet Saturn. First of all, Saturn is actually the 6th closest planet. Like it orbits around the Sun, and it orbits at the 6th place, right? So that is actually the 6th closest planet to the Sun. How much is the distance between the Sun and Saturn? The distance between the Sun and Saturn is 1,427 million kilometers. That much is far. How far is Saturn from Sun? It's far 1,427 million kilometers. And it is actually the second planet. It's the second planet in our solar system. Okay. And as you can see here in the picture, so you can find like a ring. As you can see here, around the planet, they're having like a ring shape. Okay, so actually this ring, we also call it like a ring planet, right? So this ring is made from chunks and ice crystals. Like this sort of the ring, what you see here around the planet, it's actually made from the ice crystals, right? And it is referred as ring planet. Why we call it ring planet? Because of this ice crystal ring around the planet. We call it, what we call it? We call it ringed planet, okay? And also they call the god of agriculture, right? So similar like other planets, Saturn also orbit around the Sun. So how long does it take to complete one orbit? It takes around 29.5 years. 29.5 years it takes to complete one orbit, and it takes around 10.5 hours for one complete rotation. Okay, and they do have, Saturn actually, they do have satellites. So they have around 60 satellites, all right, 60 satellites. And Saturn actually, they do have gases. They have plenty of gas. So that's why they call it a gas giant. Here you can see why they call it gas giant planet. Gas giant means like which have a massive amount of gas. And what are those gases? Actually, they have in the outer part, they have hydrogen and helium. Okay. And then in their inner part, actually it's made up of metal. All right, so the core of Saturn is compact ice. There is hydrogen and ammonia. Also they have methane in the atmosphere. So as you can see here, they have plenty of gases here, right? So they have hydrogen, helium, that's actually in the outer part, right? And then in the inner part, they also have like these are the different type of gases: ammonia, hydrogen, methane. So these gases they have in their atmosphere. Okay, students, so these are some of the basic information what you have to remember. Okay, let me ask from you, how far is this planet Saturn from the sun? How far it is? Anyone can answer?
1,427 million.
Very good, excellent. The distance between the sun and the planet Saturn is 1,427 million kilometers, and it is actually the second biggest planet. Okay, all right. So how long does it take for the Saturn to complete one orbit? Who is going to answer me? How long does it take to complete one orbit around the sun? Students, answer me, please.
Can I find how to 1,000?
A bit louder, please. It takes around
29.5 years.
Very good. 29.5 years it takes to complete one orbit. Okay. And how many hours it takes to complete one rotation?
10.5 hours.
Very good. It takes 10.5 hours, 10.5 hours to complete one rotation. Okay, what type of gases we have on planet Saturn on the outer part? The outer gases. What type of gases we have there?
Hydrogen and helium.
Hydrogen and helium. Very good. Excellent. And how about the ring? The ring is actually made of what?
Saturn is the ring around.
Yeah, the ring around the planet. What it is made of? What it is made of?
The rings are made from chunks of ice crystal. Saturn is.
Very good. Excellent. The rings are actually made from chunks of ice crystal. Very good. Excellent. So student, these are some of the information you have to remember. Okay. All right. Now we're going to move to the next planet. Our next planet, number 7, is Uranus. Uranus. Okay. So Uranus is actually the 7th planet, as you can see here in the picture. The picture given to you in the books. Okay, so Uranus is the 7th planet in the solar system. The distance of Uranus to the sun is 2,871 million kilometers, and it is the 3rd biggest planet. Okay, it is the 3rd biggest planet. The 2nd biggest planet, it was the Saturn, right? So that's actually the 3rd biggest planet, and it cannot be seen with naked eyes because it is too far from the sun. Like it's quite far. How far it is? It's 2,871 million kilometers far from the sun. So that's why, because it's quite far, so we can't see on our naked eyes. Okay, and Uranus orbits around the sun, and it takes 84 years for one complete orbit. it takes around 17 hours to make one complete rotation. Okay, so the direction of rotation of Uranus is opposite to the other planets. Like the other planets, for example, if they rotate clockwise, so Uranus actually it rotates anti-clockwise, so they rotate actually opposite. And Uranus also have about 27 satellites. There are faint rings around Uranus, and there is methane in the atmosphere. So these are some of the basic information about the planet Uranus. So first of all, it's actually the 7th planet in the solar system. As we have total 8 planets, so Uranus is the 7th planet in our solar system. Now, how much is the distance? The distance between the sun and planet Uranus is 2,871 million kilometers, and it is actually the 3rd biggest planet. And we cannot see with our naked eyes because it's quite far. It's too far, so we are unable to see with our naked eyes. And how about the rotation? How about the completion of orbit? It takes 84 years. It takes 84 years for one complete orbit and around 17 hours to make one complete rotation. So the other planets actually it rotates in a clockwise direction, but Uranus actually it rotates opposite, not similar like the other planets. It's actually rotate anti-clockwise to the other side. And apart from that, Uranus, they do have satellites. How many satellites they have? 27 satellites. Okay. All right. So now let me ask from you these simple question. First of all, how far is Uranus from the sun?
2,871 million kilometers.
Very good. Excellent. 2,871 million kilometers. And how long does it take for complete one orbit?
84 years.
Very good. It takes 84 years for one complete orbit. And how about for the rotation? How long does it take to complete one rotation? It takes how many hours to complete one rotation?
17.
Very good. It takes 17 hours. And so these are the simple information, students. 2,871 million kilometers is the distance between the planet Uranus and the sun. And it is the 3rd biggest planet. And it takes around 84 years to complete one orbit. And it takes around 17 hours to make one complete rotation. And Uranus, they have about 27 satellites. Okay. And also there is methane in the atmosphere. So methane is also existing in the atmosphere of Uranus. Very good. Okay, now we're gonna move to our last planet, Neptune. So Neptune is actually the 8th. It is the 8th planet in our solar system. The distance of Neptune to the sun is 4,497 million kilometers. And Neptune orbits around the sun. It takes 165 years to complete one orbit. It takes around 16 hours to complete one rotation. Neptune has about 27 satellites, and sorry, it has a dark ring around it. This planet consists of dense gases. such as methane, hydrogen, steam, and ammonia. So these are actually 4 different type of gases which are quite dense. It exists on the planet Neptune. Okay, so here these are some of the basic information. As you can see here, the picture on your screen, this is how planet Neptune look like. So that's actually 8th planet in our solar system. We have total 8 planets. So Neptune is on number 8. So how much is the distance between the planet Neptune and the sun? That's around 4,497 million kilometer. And to complete one orbit, it takes 165 years. Okay. And for one complete rotation, how many hours it takes? It takes around 16 hours. And a total 27 satellites are there on Neptune. And it also has a dark ring around it. Okay. And planet Neptune, actually, they do have different type of gases which are quite dense. So those are methane, hydrogen, steam, and ammonia. So these are the 4 type of gases on Neptune, planet Neptune. Okay. All right. Now let me ask from you. How far is planet Neptune from the sun?
4,497 million
Very good.
kilometers.
The distance between the sun and the Neptune is 4,497 million kilometers. Okay, now how about the Neptune orbit around the sun? How long does it take?
165
years.
Very good, excellent. It takes 165 years to complete one orbit. How about a complete rotation? How long does it take for one complete rotation?
16 hours.
16 hours.
Very good, 16 hours. It takes 16 hours to complete one rotation. Now, how many gases we have on the planet Neptune? And what are the names? How many types of gases we have on planet Neptune and what are the names?
Methane, hydrogen, and ammonia.
Very good. Methane, hydrogen, steam, and ammonia. So these are the 4 type of gases which are quite dense on Neptune. And how many satellites we have on the planet Neptune? How many satellites we have on the planet Neptune? We have total 27 satellites. 27 satellites on the planet Neptune. Very good. Excellent job. Okay, students, so these are some of the basic information what you have to remember for each planet. Okay, now all of these planets, actually 8 planets, they are divided into 2 groups. Okay, so we have 2 groups. First of all, group number 1 is inferior planets, right? And second one is superior planets. So actually, inferior planets, they refer to Mercury and Venus. So these are the 2 planets actually which comes in inferior planets, which are quite close to the sun. They are closer to the sun than the Earth. Like Mercury is number 1 closest planet to the sun. Venus is second closest planet to the sun. And the third one is the Earth, planet Earth. So these are the most closest planets to the sun. That's why they call it inferior planets. Now the rest of the planets, actually, they are superior planets. So actually they are more far. These planets, they are more far from the sun, which are planet Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So these are actually in the group of superior planets, and the first two of them, Mercury and Venus, they are in the group of inferior planets. So inferior planets, they are quite closer to the sun, even closer than the Earth to the sun. And the rest of the planets, they are far from the sun. Okay, so this also you have to remember. Apart from that, actually the planets in the solar system, they counter clockwise direction from west to east. Okay, except Venus and Uranus, whose direction of rotation is opposite. So as I mentioned, all of the planets actually, while they rotate, so they rotate clockwise. They rotate clockwise from west to east, but except two planets. First one, Venus, and the second one is Uranus. So Uranus actually, they rotate anti-clockwise. They rotate from east to west. So you have to remember these two planets, they rotate anti-clockwise, and the rest of all of the planets actually, they rotate clockwise. Okay, so here we have some of the information what we have to write down in the chart, in the table here, exploring the planet. Okay, so what the information what we already studied in the each and every planet. So here we are going to discuss. So first of all, what is the objective of learning? The objective of learning is search for information about planets in the solar system, that we should to have more information, to collect more information about each planet in our solar system. Second objective is identify the important characteristics of planet in the solar system. That here we would like to know about the characteristics, like each planet each planet, they have different characteristics, so we would like to figure out that. Okay, so what are the directions? The directions are search for information about the planets in the solar system, then apply the information you have found to identify the planet and tick in the table that match the characteristics of each planet. So what we already get information about every individual planet, so those characteristics we have to write down in the table. We have to tick in the table. Let's see. We have the table given to us. The table is about the planet. So here we have all these different planets like Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. These are the 8 different planets, right? So we have the information given to us, and those characteristics, if we find in each planet, we have to tick. So information number 1, it is a planet in the solar system. So this is actually all of these planets, they are actually planets of in our solar system. So this is true. So even Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, all of them, they are the planets in our solar system. Now, second question, second information is it orbits around the sun. So as we already learned, all of these planets, they orbit around the sun. Is it true or not, students? All of the 8 planets, it orbit around the sun. Is it true or not? It's true. Very good. We already talk about characteristics of each planet. So all of these planets, they orbit around the sun. So we are going to tick in front of all planets. Okay. Now, number 3. So number 3, it takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. Which planet take 24 hours? Students, Earth, right? We already learned about it. Earth, actually, it takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. Now, information number 4, it has at least one satellite. So actually, planet, Mercury and Venus, they don't have satellite. But apart from that, the rest of the planets, they do have satellite. Okay, number 5, it is a superior planet. So even Mercury, Venus, and Earth, they are inferior. They are actually inferior planets. But apart from that, the 5 of the planets, they are all superior planets. So we are going to tick in front of each planet. Okay, information number 6. It is a ringed planet. So we already talk about the characteristics. So among all these 8 planets, 4 of the planets, they have ring. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. 4 of these planets, they're having ring around them. But the rest of 4, they don't have any ring. Okay. Now, information number 7. It is a gas giant planet with gases such as hydrogen, ammonia, and methane in the atmosphere. So we already just studied before that Saturn and Neptune, both of these planets, they are actually gas giant planets. So both of these, they have hydrogen, ammonia, methane gases in their atmosphere, but the rest of the planets, they're having other type of gases. Okay. Now, number 8, it is the second largest planet. So we already talked about Saturn just before. Saturn is the second largest planet. Okay, number 9, it is located between Jupiter and Uranus. So Saturn is actually located in between Jupiter and Uranus. And the last one, 10th characteristic, it is known as a god of agriculture. So just before we talk about Saturn, they call it the god of agriculture. So these are some of the basic information what we already studied and the characteristics of each planet. Okay, students, you already tick in your table in your books. Students, have you already tick mark in your books? Okay, now let's talk about one planet. Okay, so which planet we are going to talk about? Let's talk about planet Saturn just before we talk about it. Okay, and what do we know about this planet? So here, it is a planet in the solar system, right? And it orbits around the sun. It takes how many hours? It takes 10.5 hours to complete one rotation. And it also has a moon, right? It is a superior planet and it is a ringed planet. It is a gas giant planet with gases such as hydrogen, ammonia, methane in the atmosphere. Okay, it is the second largest planet. All right, and it is located between Jupiter and Uranus. It is known as the god of agriculture. So students, these are all the characteristics and some of the basic information about this one planet. Okay, what we already studied. Okay, you can write down any other planet as well. Like for example, you can write down either Uranus, either Venus, either any other planet, and then you can write down their characteristics. Okay, like how big is the planet and how long it takes to orbit around the sun. And also you can talk about the information of complete one rotation. Apart from that, if they have gases, you can write down the name of those. and where is the location of that. So this is just an example. Okay, students, so now we're gonna move, because of the short time, you can watch the video later on and then you can write down in your books, okay? So we're gonna move towards the next activity. Okay, so here we also have some of the basic information. This is the table of each planet, okay? Like how much is the distance from the sun, how the diameter of each planet in kilometers, time to orbit the sun and earth. Apart from that, time to compare one rotation and their nicknames. So this is also the table. They have the each and every information about each planet, okay? All right, now students, first of all, here we have one of the activity you have to do by yourself. As you can see on your screen, okay? So first of all, you have to do by yourself. You need to take a paper, okay? And with the help of that paper, you have to make such type of the planet solar system, okay? You have to draw the all orbits and you can put each and every individual planet and just write down the name of every planet around the sun, okay? This is activity 5.2 and you have to make the model of the solar system. Can you do that, students? You can just you can make it on your paper. Just you need like you can also make you can use plasticine, either one big sheet of paper. You just need one ruler and a pencil. So if you have like one big sheet, and you can draw with the help of pencil and ruler. Can you do that, students? Students, I'm waiting for your answer. Can you draw on a piece of paper all these planets? Like in the middle, you put the sun, then next you put Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. You just draw on paper with the help of pencil. Can you do that?
Okay.
All of you students, I want you to practice, okay? Just on a blank paper, okay? Just on a blank paper, like let's say, for example, you have a blank paper, right? Take a blank paper, right in the center, you put down the sun. Around the sun, you make the rings, as you can see here in the picture, okay? Just draw the rings, like the orbit, and each ring, you can write down, you can make the picture of the planet. And if you can give color to those planets, it will be more beautiful. Okay, students, this is your homework.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
I give them draw what do them like Neptune, yeah, draw Neptune, yes. And color,
right,
like one,
yeah. Yeah, just exactly same like in the picture. They can draw exactly like that. Okay, it's quite easy, students. You can look at your book. Okay, you can look to your book and use a pencil and ruler and just draw, and then write down the name of every planet. Okay, so write down at the bottom, you can write planets in the solar system. Planets in the solar system. Okay, so these are some of the questions we have. Which is the closest planet to the sun? So Mercury is the closest planet. Which planet is the fifth one in from the sun? So that one is Jupiter. How do the 8 planet orbit? So actually orbit around the sun.